Roscoe.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Week of August 8th, I had a breakfast meeting with the chairman to go over stuff for our meeting on that evening. I attended a meeting on Harbor Park issues down at the Harbor Master's office. Weekly meeting with PMA regarding town projects, the police and DPW. The rest of the week I had taken a couple of days vacation. Week of August 16, meeting with Christine McCarthy, our town accountant, to talk about some issues in her office. Weekly meeting with PMA regarding DPW sub-bids and police roof issues. Meeting with Patrick Della Russo, our treasurer, collector, and finance director, to review warrant articles. On a meeting on FY23 capital budget request, Patrick and I met with police, fire, and schools. Had a bi-weekly police building committee meeting at Library Plaza. Monthly department head meeting where we talked about a whole host of issues, including town meeting and the deadline for warrant articles, etc. Weekly police project owner, architect, and contract meeting, dealing with pouring of the floors at the police station, some roofing materials, and general contractor bids that will be coming in shortly on the DPW project. Jim Folkard, I had the opportunity to attend Jim Folkard's retirement party. Many people know Jim was our local inspector and building commissioner. He retired during COVID. We weren't able to do anything, and some folks got together and they had a nice retirement party for him. Attended the CRS PPI meeting to talk about flood insurance, town meeting articles, and some different workshops that we're trying to do. We're still trying to get easements, which I'll talk about a little later. Meeting with DPW and Patrick to review FY23 capital requests from DPW on some equipment that they're going to need. Weekly meeting with Fred Russell, maintenance director, to talk about school building administration painting job was completed, a sign for the Council on Aging building project and complex, purple lights for August 31st, which is the National Opiate Awareness Day. We'll once again continue to illuminate Town Hall in purple from 8 to midnight. Security enclosure issues at schools, painting of the trim of Town Hall, green community projects at both the schools, and boiler replacement at the fire headquarters. Participated in coastal zone management beach nourishment meeting with Greg Guimont, our town planner, the Woods Hole Group, Duxbury Planning Office, talking about easements. One of the things I wanted to mention, this was a third in a series that took place on August 18th at the Town of Marshfield Harbor Master Building, and we sent letters out and invited property owners in Fieldston Beach, Sunrise Beach, Bay Avenue Beach, Gurnett Road areas of Marshfield and Duxbury. And the thing is, it's the whole impetus of this, we're working with the Woods Hole Group, and that is on beach nourishment. It's very important that we get easements so we can do the beach nourishment. We're going to be dredging the harbor. It's going to be about 22,000 cubic yards of material that is suitable for beach nourishment. We only can do the beach nourishment if we get the sign-off from the neighbors, and we need to do that. As to date, we have about 45 easements that are signed. We need about 53 more. So I announced at the meeting that we'll be going door-to-door starting this Saturday. We're going to go door-to-door and knock on people's doors and ask them for their easements. Mr. Kilcoyne volunteered to come and knock on doors with Greg Guimont and myself and whoever else wants to do it. We figure it's a short window on Saturday mornings, maybe 9 to 11, because you want to catch the property owner before they go out. We gave them fair warning because I didn't want to startle anybody when I'm ringing their doorbell. I'm not collecting for anything other than easement, so we're looking forward to that. Attended the first in-person Mass Municipal Managers meetings up in North Andover. And, you know, everyone was talking about COVID, was talking about ARPA, was talking about schools and masks and mandates and all of that, booster shots, things like that. Had a meeting with Danielle Kerrigan, our HR director, and Board of Health to review some of the programs that they're doing. Budget meeting, FY23 budget with Patrick, our treasurer collector. We're working on that. It's hard to believe we're already working on 23, and Patrick's already, did a rough of 24 and 25 because putting in some of the important pieces. And finally, I had a meeting with Patrick on booster clinic planning. And I could talk a little bit more about that when you want me to do the vaccinations and booster clinic update. But that's my report for now, Mr. Chair.
Great. Any questions? No Anything? Any questions? Do you want to move into vaccination and booster clinic update?
Sure. So just to let you know, to date, we've given out 80 shots right here in Town Hall on Mondays and Wednesdays, which is far above what CVS and Walgreens in town have done in that same period. As I mentioned, I know I mentioned to the chairman, but so that everyone knows, I did talk to the state, asked us if we would do booster shots, which I told them we would talk to the board, but we'll move forward again. As we say, we'll have to get the team back together again out at the fairgrounds. So we've had some initial conversations with them. Patrick and I and the fire chief and our fire consultant had a meeting to start to get the pieces in gear, because we would be looking at doing the shots probably beginning of October 7th, 8th, and 9th. One of the things that we're going to have to do is take care of the police, fire, and ambulance within this area. Because we have the clinic, it's a little different. Those people got Moderna, so we'll have to ask the state for Moderna. We're looking at probably taking care of Marshfield, Duxbury, Pembroke, Kingston, Carver, Norwell, Situate, and Hanover. And we'll get the Madeira for that. And then probably the week following that, we're going to be concentrating on just Thursdays, Fridays, and Saturdays. We'll have 4 lanes for people to come in and to be serviced. There will be drive-through. We'll be in a different area of the fairgrounds because we need to work with the fairgrounds. They're going to still have the drive, and they're going to have a couple of concerts, some other things that are going on, but they definitely want to accommodate us. And the booster shots, they're estimating right now that 4.4 million people in Massachusetts have gotten the 2 shots. So 8 months from when you got the second shot, you can get the booster shot. So really, it's going to be October, November, December, January, February, March. Of course, it'll be cold. We'll be out there. Probably be a blizzard this year or something. But we'll be out there. And they're estimating about 2.9 million people, about 65% will want to get the booster shot. So that's what we know so far. I'll keep everyone updated, but we'll move ahead and get everything in place. Just so folks know that are listening, we get reimbursed. The cost to administer the first go-around was $21.76. Patrick had it down to the penny, and we get reimbursed $40 a shot. Now, we don't get reimbursed on everybody, but it will work out that at $40 a shot, it covers the money that we have to put out. Initially, the vaccine itself is free. The paramedics will be giving out the shot, mixing the medication. We'll need the volunteers like we've had in the past, things like that. So everything will be pretty much the same, just slightly smaller operation and more of a condensed operation. So thank you.
Great. I mean, I think it's a testimony to the operation that the town ran in the initial vaccination clinic for the Commonwealth to come to us and ask for us to do it again. I think it's an ideal situation with the drive-through, and yeah. So nice work.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Darcy.
Yeah,
anything?
we probably had the most efficient clinic in the entire state, so we're happy to do our part to help the Commonwealth once again.
0 loss,
That's right.
0 waste.
Yeah. Mr. Coyne, anything?
Yeah, Michael, you spoke about Moderna. I know we did a lot of Pfizer. So are you able to mix boosters? Do you know, I'm not asking for a medical opinion, but you said we're just going to have
Well,
Moderna?
so we would do, so it's Pfizer to Pfizer candidates, Moderna to Moderna. So public safety, yeah, so public safety in those areas, with the exception of Norwell, used Moderna. So those towns have asked if we can get the Moderna.
So we'll have both.
Yep, so we'll have both. We
I
got
just wanted
both
to clarify
freezers,
that.
yep.
Yep, thank you.
Great. All right, thank you. 6:40, I'm going to go ahead and, Mr. Westwart's here, right?
Right there,
Come on up.
Mr.
We're going to have an update from Mike Westward from Health Circle, update on the plans for his cannabis dispensary over on, it's over in Enterprise Drive, correct? Yeah. So, Thanks for coming in.
This is Paul Jacobson. He's
Hey,
been
Paul.
with me for the last 4 years that we've been working on this. So Mike had called, he just said he wanted to give you guys an update, because I'm sure you see the one on Enterprise Drive going forward and being like, what the hell are you guys doing, basically?
Sort of like that.
Yeah, so we're renting the building right next to Stellwagen Brewery. The gentleman that is in that building is building another building for him to move into. With COVID and delays on getting equipment, people to work, his building's a little bit behind schedule. So we can't move in, obviously, until he moves out. We talked to him recently, he's hoping to be out by the end of this year. We have since filed the building permits, the plans for the building permit, just to get that going, so when he's out, we can just start going right away. There's not a lot of site work outside, the building's fairly new, it's only, well, was only a couple years old when we
Yeah.
started this, now it's a few more years old. So interior is just gonna be like a retrofit of the inside. Paul, that's Paul's specialty, but what do you think construction?
I have some drawings here for the board if they'd like to look at them.
Sure.
For the time being, or I don't know if you had questions about it.
No, I mean, honestly, all we're really looking for, at least I'm looking for, and I'll let the other two gentlemen comment or ask questions, but, you know, obviously with the current South Shore Buds, with the
Yep.
Frozen Four gentlemen this close to opening, and you being the first to receive the license, you know, it's very, I just want to make it clear, there are other people that have been inquiring about that license, and it's really important to me as a member of the board that that the project's moving forward in a timely way, and that I understand there's been some hurdles.
Yes.
I understand, you know, and usually there are, but for me, it's just understanding a clear plan of, you know, moving forward, and when you think you're going to be open, when you're going to be able to get this thing done and get open.
Yeah, so, as we said, so we also have another location in Rockland. Rockland, the dispensary's up and open now. If any of you guys want to come and check it out, you can see what we've built. You can see the traffic, people coming in and out. That one's now complete. Right now, we're going to be working on building the grow in Rockland while we're waiting for Marshfield. But it's really just a function of getting an empty building. It's already been, as we said, it's already been designed, waiting for the approval for the building permit, but that back and forth will happen when he's out of there. I just can't do anything until he's out. We definitely plan on going forward. I get that we were the ones who first got the host agreement. Our special permit with the fence took a little longer than anticipated, but we're all set to go.
Okay.
I'm just waiting for a building.
I mean, I think it makes sense. I mean, you already have a dispensary in Rockland, which shows that, you know, operationally, you know how to get one open and you can get it moving.
Yep.
As you guys know, you know, time is money on these types of things for everybody. I'm assuming it's affecting you as well, so I get that. But it's been a while. I mean, just to be clear, I wasn't even on the board when you received your yeah. So, and this is my third year on the board, so I just, for me, it was just, I really didn't see a lot of communication about where the updates were, and I just wanted to get an update on where you are. So that was
totally
primary.
understand.
Yeah.
I mean, we're not going dark. We're ready to go. I just kind of in like a holding pattern until I can get an empty building to get in there.
Okay. And when do you think you said by end of the year?
He said
supposed to-
November, but
Yeah.
I've been doing this long enough. November leads into December, you know what I mean? So
Yeah.
if it's out by the end of the year, it should only take us a few months just to retrofit it and everything else.
Yeah.
Once we're done, obviously we still gotta wait for the state. The state is faster than they have been over the last couple of years, but
Mm-hmm.
that means it might only be a month. You're like sitting there with the full building ready to go
Okay.
for a month, could be a month and a half, but they are a lot faster than they have been. So that's a good thing.
All right.
And yeah, you're right. We've already been through it.
Yeah.
Kind of know what they're looking for, so I don't foresee any major problems there.
Okay.
Yeah, and there's nothing real structural in the building, so.
No,
it's
we have
not-
about a 3-month window for construction. So if we're starting by the end of the year,
Mm-hmm.
you know, you're looking at probably the second quarter of trying to be open of the following year.
Okay.
You know, so we have about a 3-month window, 3 to 3.5 month window for construction, and then we just gotta wait for the state. For
Okay.
instance, in Rockland, it took us almost 90 days from when we were signed off, building permit wise, for
Great.
an occupancy for the state
Yeah.
to come in and approve us.
Okay.
So, I mean, if they're ahead of the game and that's half, I'll be happy. You know what I mean? So,
Yeah. Okay. All right. So let's, you know, I'm gonna I'm going to put down second quarter of the following year. Just keep Mr. Moresco updated and keep look through him. We'll
Yeah, like I
stay
can drop you a line
updated.
once a month if you want to know what's
Or-
going on. or
That'd be
anything
great,
else.
that'd be
Yeah.
great.
Yeah, what I really like, I mean, this me personally on any kind of capital project like that where people are building, even a private one, I like to keep updates. I mean, I know with our current buildings that we're building in town, there's regular updates on where it's going, any kind of setbacks, anything like that. I just hadn't heard anything, and I asked Mr. Moresco about it, and so he felt like it'd be better just to have you guys come
Yeah,
on in.
I live
Right.
in Citrus, no problem.
Yeah, cool.
whatsoever, so-
All right, great.
We filed for the building permit too, so we've uploaded everything, so we're just waiting at that point. So once that all goes through the process.
Yeah, we'll send you an
Okay.
email once that's approved, so then you kind of just know we're waiting for
All right,
to get out.
great. Mr. Darcy.
You
anything?
asked every question that I had, so I don't have any questions for you guys. Thank you.
Okay, cool. Let's go coin.
Yes, like my peers here, I was not here at the time you were granted this. And we have another applicant that was afterwards and is pretty much farther along. You know, business is business, right? So have you thought about alternative analysis? Is this building the only building in the world that we can do this in? Do you have a fallback plan, such as if by, you know, the first quarter this is not going well, so the town doesn't have to hear maybe in July of next year that you know it's pushed out again? It's not. I know it's not your fault.
Yeah.
But if you don't
I
take
gotta deal with it.
take actions to mitigate the problem, then you're sort of the representative of the problem.
Totally get it. As far as the properties, when we first started this years ago, there was very few properties, like depending with setbacks, like the Buckles and Board,
I know it's tough.
that, they had to give away land, move some streets, like I didn't even think that big a scope. So there's not a ton in the zone that actually fit all the requirements. I actually originally wanted Stellwagen, but they're not going anywhere or whatever else. So as a fallback position, what we'd have to look into is basically he would have, I don't even know how he'd do this, move all his stuff to storage and then like find a place where he could use temporarily while I can get there and do construction until his building's open. That we could talk about again. I think he was looking at that, then he thought the building was gonna be done, and then it wasn't, so like we weren't, that kind of went by the side. But now we can, you know, discuss that again.
Yeah, I think an alternative analysis presentation, maybe, here we are in what, August? And you're projecting to be up and running beginning of Q2?
Yeah.
2022. So maybe in 90 days, you could give us an update, and if it doesn't look like there's other types of alternatives, maybe you could start looking into alternatives, wherever they could be short-term. I realize COVID was a huge problem. I realize things are out of your control, but at the same time, if we can't do things, we just have to, you know, switch and pivot.
Yep, totally understand.
Thank you very much. So 90 days?
Yep.
Yeah.
You guys all right without an update in 90 days?
Well, it's like if you keep Michael updated, and then we'll,
An official one every.
yeah, we'll bring you in, if, you know, at the end of the year.
Yep.
So
Again.
just to be clear, the alternate is for the owner to get out of the building, not an alternate location to that site.
Yeah, from my perspective, it's just something that would speed up the process. I will leave it up to you to develop the best alternative approach.
Because then we'd have to go back through through the planning board, everything else.
Right, because the
Or
special
another
permits.
site For special permit. I just wanted to be clear what the.
I understand we'd have to start over with other individuals as well.
Yeah.
And with the zoning, there's only so many places that you can
There
go
you go.
to.
We're,
Right.
we're, we're all in this together, but we want to do
I'm
the.
like,
giddy-
don't-
The
special
building was
permit
empty.
took a
Yeah,
year,
we wish
so-
the building was empty.
Yeah.
You can maybe light a fire and we'll do a giddy up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and ultimately, it's all about communication. That's really what it's about. It's not necessarily I want it like this date or nothing, or you got to have another. It's if we understand where you are, then we can live with where you are in a lot of ways. But we just have to know, like,
Communication.
yeah,
No,
yeah,
totally get it.
yeah,
Yeah.
cool,
And now I got more time. Now that Rockland's open, you know, that was one hurdle. We're getting there. Baby
Good.
steps.
good. How's it going over there?
It's going well. You know, we haven't had any issues with traffic. I mean, it's in a commercial zone, kind of like where this one is. So there's really been no neighbors' complaints. We can get people in and out of the store, and I would say less than 5 minutes.
Yeah,
So everybody's traffic concern, which doing the special permit, that took quite a few months because of that. What we're finding over the times I can turn around a car in one parking spot, we haven't had any issues. We got parking in the back of the building that nobody even uses.
yeah,
Because they're legitimately in and out, and 5 minutes at the counter. By the time you walk to and from, probably 10 minutes
So
total.
they're not shopping, they're buying.
Yeah, and well, we do a lot of online ahead of time, so
Right.
people that know what they want, we have an express booth where everything's already packaged. You just come, tell them your name, check your ID, pay, and you're out. So that helps for the regular consumers or the people that know what they want. There are some people that come in and want a consultation with the bud tender, but even that usually doesn't take that long. They're like, I want to sleep. Okay, well, here's a couple things. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? But yeah, we've found it's a lot faster in and out than we ever imagined.
Yeah, I chalked
Maybe I'm overstaffed, so I might want to talk about that, but you know, I'll be like, okay, but.
Yeah, I chalk that up to a lot with education, and there's a lot of good education out there, and I think people are becoming more educated, and I think it's,
Yeah.
you know, people, there's a lot of power in the internet and being able to look at things and come up with ideas before, and like you said, with your own website, and before they even get there, they kind of have ideas what they're up to,
Yeah,
so.
because things come in and out, certain people want certain things, so
Sure.
they shop a lot more than I anticipated.
Yeah,
I just figured they would go, you know, to the closest one, but they're surprisingly, they shop a lot more.
yeah, interesting.
Yeah. But
All
yeah,
right.
if you guys ever want to come into Rockland, just to kind of see what it's like, you know, more than welcome anytime.
Okay, I
Usually
appreciate
there
that.
Monday through Friday. He's
Appreciate-
there all the time.
Appreciate that.
Thank you very much.
Mr. Maresco, do you have anything else to
Just, I
add?
think, Mr. Chairman, you've addressed my question. I did take a ride over because I know what was holding you up is the facade on that other building fell off. And then I saw they were there today and they were starting to work on the back wall. But I'm assuming that in the building where you're going next to WATD, that you had purported they're going to move out and you'll be able to get in there. So
Yes.
that'll expedite the process. Okay, thank you.
Yeah, so that tenant has to move out for us to
Okay.
Right,
renovate what's happening, right?
makes sense. All right, thanks for coming in.
Hey, no
Appreciate
problem.
it.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Yeah. All right, we got a few minutes. Well, gentlemen from Station 8 are here, right? You guys are here?
Yes.
Let's just go ahead and have you come up. You're already here. I don't want to make you have to wait to your appointment.
Thank you.
Yes. How are you guys today? Great. So I understand you're coming before us for a change of ownership of Station 8. I know that there's been a couple of those situations. So can you fill us in on what's going on over there?
Excuse me, Mr. Chairman.
Yes.
If you could, just for the record, if you
Oh,
could
yeah,
read in the
sorry.
notice. Thank you.
Let me read their notice. Thank you for your reminder. This is a Town of Marshfield Notice of Public Hearing. Notice is hereby given under Chapter 138 of the Massachusetts General Laws as amended that the Board of Selectmen will hold a public hearing on Monday, August 23rd, 2021 at 7 p.m. in the Selectmen's Hearing Room, Town Hall, 870 Moraine Street, Marshfield, Massachusetts, 02050, on the application of amendment of officers and directors and change of ownership interest from M&M South Shore Hospitality LLC, doing business as Station 8. Premises located at 1899 Ocean Street, Marshfield, Massachusetts, 02050. Premises described as single-story building, 2 rooms, kitchen, dining area with bar, multi-function room, 3 entrances, 4 exits, containing approximately 6,363 square feet, 2 outdoor seating areas with total square footage of 585 and 62 seats. Marshfield Licensing Authority, Christopher R. Rowland, Chairman, Stephen G. Darcy, Vice Chair, and James J. Kilcoyne, Clerk. All right, so now, fill us in, what's going on?
Just organizing the change. Mike Pavone, who was the original starter, was changed out of GM at one point with a plan in order to move him out. As it's working on other things, I think, and his focus needed to be on that. So he was able to get a group of investors together to come in to help out people that we grew up with in the town, and along with that, that's how we formed the ownership group.
Excellent. So you're the Mahoney brothers? You're,
I'm John Mahoney and he's Mike McDonough.
right,
Sorry.
right, John Mahoney, right, okay.
And then his brother, Dan,
Oh, Dan.
Right, and Dan, right.
not here.
Okay, that's no problem. Well, I mean, I looked over everything. It seems like everything's in order. I looked over it earlier today. Really, I mean, these things happen, right? So ultimately, I really don't see any issues. I think everything's in order. Do you, Mr. Darcy, do you have anything?
No.
Okay. Mr. Kilcoyne?
No, I don't. Everything looks great.
Okay, great. All right. So I'm going to make a motion
Mr. Chairman, if I hate to do this, but because it was posted for 7, before you could actually do the motion, it's gotta be 7.
All right.
Just in case anyone shows up,
Anybody
because
got
it is a
any
hearing,
songs,
yeah.
jokes, or anything?
The
I was gonna
Jeopardy theme?
I was gonna say that, just like those other guys, you're welcome to come in and check the place out.
Yeah. As
No,
much-
well, hey, I
It sounds
have.
like we're going from their place to our place.
Well, I will say I have been in since you guys have been running the place, and I've been very happy with the times I've been in there.
Thanks.
A couple events, couple things. Local. It was a good plug for Marshall Rams Cancer, which is PMC and Mark Stiles, and a number of the local guys ride in the PMC every year. I've ridden with them before, and it's a great charitable organization. So
Yeah, we were able
appreciate
to
you guys
shift
doing
gears.
that.
That was originally supposed to be over at Levitate,
Oh, right.
and because of the rain, when we're involved, we donate to it anyways. We donated gift certificates for that place and for our other businesses in town. And we were able to shift gears quickly and get it staffed up, for the amount of people that came. And,
Get bored that night, yeah.
yeah, and I'm pretty sure they raised somewhere around 20,000.
They raised a lot of money.
That's fantastic.
That's awesome.
Yeah, they're at a really good point where they're close. The team itself is close to raising. They've been doing it for almost 20 years, and they're close to raising $1 million. That just this team. So for cancer. So yeah, that's really good.
Chairman, may I make a comment?
Sure.
So when we did the agenda in the conservation, we had this as well, and we ran into issues. Some went fast, some went slow. We changed the block time from 15 minutes to 5 minutes. We did all sorts of things, and we ended up just having that section in. For us, it's called appointments. We just had it start at a particular time, and then we listed the chronological events of the people there, and then it would be up to the applicants and the public to be there at that starting period, so we could move along and not hold people up that might be behind it. I just offer that maybe as a way we could address the agenda moving forward.
Yeah, we can look into it. I mean, ultimately, a lot of times, and I didn't do it this time because I saw the gentleman here. I'll do action items to fill time, but I just didn't do it this time, and I didn't think about the fact that it was a 7 p.m. thing. We're literally,
It was only 5 minutes as well, so.
yeah.
But
So
it just gives you the flexibility. You don't have to move the schedule around it.
yeah, we can look into that. Yeah, right. Yeah.
You guys have Shipyard Pumpkinhead yet?
Actually, we do. It started like a week ago. I hate it. Pretty soon we're gonna have Christmas stuff.
I know, it's
Yeah.
crazy, right?
Yeah, you hate it.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, where are we?
2 minutes.
2 minutes to showtime.
If you guys want to do something else,
You know what? I'm going to knock out a couple action items. So I'm going to make number one action item: discussion and vote on placing flags on town green and lighting town hall in support of National Opioid Awareness Day. As everyone has probably seen, and I know they were out doing it today. They were out putting the new flags out to recognize National Opioid Awareness Day, which is, as Michael mentioned earlier, Mr. Maresco earlier, August 31st. Unfortunately, we're still gaining flags every year and not losing flags, and it's a terrible thing. But the more we can bring awareness to that, the better. And I also want to mention that there is a vigil at 6 a.m. on Saturday morning at Harbor Park, and the public is welcome. So it's something we do. So I have no issues with it, Mr. Darcy.
No issues.
Ms. Kilcoyne?
No, I actually stopped by this afternoon with Mr. Maresco, met the team, tried to tell them it's a great cause, and I appreciate their effort. It's devastating to see how many, most of them now are young adults being killed by this opioid epidemic. So,
Right.
nope, I have no further comments.
Okay, so I'm going to make a motion to support the placement of 2,104 flags on the town green from August 23rd, 2021 to September 5th, 2021, and lighting Town Hall up in purple on August 31st, 2021, in support of National Opioid Awareness Day from 8 p.m. till 12 midnight.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
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 All right. Now I can, I believe it's 7 p.m., so I'm going to move to approve the change of officers, directors, and change of ownership interest in M&M South Shore Hospitality, LLC, doing business as Station 8, located at 1899 Ocean Street in Marshfield.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
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 All right. Good luck, guys.
Thank you, everybody.
See you over there.
Yep.
All right, we have a little while before our next appointment, so I'm going to knock out a few more action items. Next item is discussion and vote on request to place flags on Town Green for childhood cancer awareness during the month of September. I believe received a letter asking for the opportunity to display yellow flags for Childhood Cancer Awareness Month in September, and this would be the first year that they would do that. The only question I have, is anybody here from there? The only question I had was, Mr. Maresco.
If I may, so this is the first year they're doing it.
Yeah.
They're sort of getting, they've got to get the flags. They wanted to get permission to be able to do it. They're going to come to us with a little more specifics.
Yes.
And then I'll do an application to the Historic Commission like we had to do opiate awareness. They always sign off, but we still have to get their okay because the care and custody of the Town Green needs Historic Commission approval and the Board of Selectmen approval.
All right, so, should we table it until we have more detail?
The only thing is if they want to start, our next meeting's not to the 13th. That's why we put it on. We're pending those approvals.
Okay. All right, any concerns or questions
No.
from you?
I can't envision any that I would have. I'd be in favor of moving forward and let it go.
Yeah, once again, terrible, another thing that wish we didn't have to have, but unfortunately it's part of what's going on out there. So again, bringing attention to the matter, could help. So I'm going to move to support the placement of yellow flags on the Town Green for Childhood Cancer Awareness Month in September to recognize the children that are in treatment, remission, or have passed away. Final details to work out with the town administrator.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right. Next item is update on Munis Software. Patrick Delarusso.
Thank you,
Mr. Delarusso?
Thank you guys very much for having me. this
Sure.
evening. So this is our third month, report number 3, the Munis project. Couple administrative things that occurring. So I'll be taking over as the as a Tyler University, they call it, due to some things going on in the accounting office, of course. That being said, the project itself now will be even more centralized underneath us, and the IT department's done a great job of helping me out, so thank you guys very much. They've done a great job of getting all the users together in the past month. Most importantly, we're in the picture now where the department heads are going to start getting involved more in the analysis side of the thing to kind of say, okay, what do you guys want out of it now? We're almost there. We just brought in DPW because they're obviously one of the largest PO issuers in the town. So we just brought them on, and so thank you, Mr. Bowen, for your cooperation. All in all, it's going to, there's a long road ahead, but we're looking forward to getting it done. We're going to put the work in and get it done. That's what we're going to do.
Great. I looked at the update. It looks like things are moving along swimmingly. I mean, I really don't see any other issue. No challenges, no.
It's not, we have, believe it or not, the biggest challenge, which is a good thing, is, so Mike, we use Zoom, as you guys know, in town, and the company, Tyler Technologies, right, uses Microsoft Teams, and that's the biggest challenge in the whole day. If we can get that operating by 9 in the morning, then we're good to go. So sometimes it's on their end, sometimes it's on our end. Some of those people, they're remote, like we're saving the town a considerable amount of money by doing a lot of the what I call the setup stuff remotely.
Yeah.
So if they're working from their house and their internet goes down, right, or their speed's down, right, it's just it creates a couple of. But those are all very minor issues. All in all, we're moving right along.
Well, as someone I've had that in the private sector, the exact same thing. Like when the whole pandemic hit, it was Zoom, 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 and then everybody went, and then Teams, yeah, if you use Microsoft or you use Outlook or what have you, that doesn't, they don't work together
They
very
don't
well
jive.
at all, right?
Two
So,
total different
right,
systems, yeah.
yeah. So, all right. Any questions?
No questions.
Any questions, Mr.
Yeah,
Kilcorn?
just a quick one. Patrick, you said here in your update, install dates were determined to be 7/26 through 7/31. The following week's 8/2 will be a review and test the application. So were you able to install between 7/26 and 7/31?
Yes.
Great.
We're able to install them. Only we're still working on some of the kinks. Now we have a interface. Now we have to build the users, right? So we have the application.
That's the
right?
test and review application portion?
Yeah. So that part there, we're just the thing is there's just so much, and so you think of all the people that use a computer in town, right? So my job over the next 3 days is going to be to go through that and say, okay, what does this person do every day? What does this person do? And you have to physically go ahead and apply those permissions all throughout a schema, right? And you have to build out someone's job.
Is this because you've been promoted to Tyler U manager?
I don't know. I wouldn't call it.
It says right here, Patrick will now be Tyler U manager,
Yeah,
so I
well-
figure you've done a good job and you got promoted.
No, they it's what that does is that there's tutorials for there's actual like homework that the employees will have to do. I call it homework, the stuff they have to do. And so what it does is it tracks their progress, and it's something that came along. It's part of the package. So basically, we'll be able to sort of set a standard of saying, okay, you guys have to do this. That if you want to get what this product can do, right? What Michael and the board supported, right? You guys have to do X, Y, and Z before all these dates where you have to be here. Otherwise, it's going to slow. Unfortunately, as you guys know, there's for the whole town. We're not building a software around one department, right?
Right.
So if they don't want to put the work in, don't come. Then okay, well we're having the meeting. Right? The people are coming in to do the training these days. That's when they're coming. So we'll be able to track that. Hopefully that won't be. I don't think it will be an issue, but it's a great way to sort of see where people are, see what they're running into, see what their challenges are, and I'm going to ensure that gets done.
Well, Patrick, I personally appreciate the fact that you're coming in here and give us these updates.
Thank you.
So we clearly know where we are. This is a phenomenally huge, expensive project for the town. We want to make sure it's up and running appropriately and the money isn't wasted. I know you save every penny you can, and so I really appreciate your
It's
updates
reasonable.
and bearing with me for my fun questions.
Please, yeah.
Do you envision, or what do you envision would be the next biggest challenge, if any, or you think things are going smoothly?
The biggest challenge that we're going to have on this is going to be won't really occur until I would say February or March when we start getting ready to close out. Go to the last quarter of the fiscal year, right? Because we're going to be running for 2 weeks, right? 2 software pros. So what we're Michael and I mentioned to Michael today, but we're likely going to probably have to shut. Usually we let things carry over into July. We're going to have to move everything 30 days up. So it's going to cause a little bit of a different way of doing business in May. And that's going to. But I think
That's a one and done. 1 year, they're done.
yeah,
right?
that's what it is. It's once we do this once, it's over. But like I mentioned, we'll roll that out through Michael. Probably starting in March. We'll probably start having more detailed discussions. And I mean, for the most part, I mean, the departments, if you give people enough advance time, like we have, like we planned out the whole year, it's on everybody's calendars, right? If you give them the much notice, they'll be able to purchase the goods that they're going to need to get through the last few weeks.
As you well know, some will always find it a surprise in the last week. That is a separate issue, but I do believe the communication and working together and keeping open lines is really a key to a highly functioning team and group. So I do appreciate it. Thank you,
Thank you
Patrick.
very much.
Thanks, Patrick.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks, Patrick.
All right, we're about at 7:10, so I'm going to ask Erica Ruscio from Library to come on up. Hi, Erica.
See, I stalled long there, didn't I?
We would have kept going. Good job. Good questions. Thank you.
Thank you.
So thanks for coming in.
Thank you.
So I understand you want to give us an update on library projects and what's been going on over at the library. I do want to say that at our at our Diversity Day over at the Boys and Girls Club. I thought it was really great that you guys were out there with the pop-up library. And I know with COVID, a lot of, what is it, the necessity is the mother of invention. So I think it kind of spurred that on a little bit, but it was something that's got to take the library to the people a little bit. So that's pretty cool.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
I'm really glad, and it was really fun to be a part of Diversity Day. It's been good to do that project, and it was also good to work with some of the other town employees at the drive-through clinic. So it's been good to be a team player through the past year. Again, my name is Erica Ruscio, and I am the young adult librarian. I've been at the Ventris Memorial Library since September of 2019. And so indeed, I'm going to share some stories and some facts that illustrate what we've been up to and how appreciated we are in the community, just so you can get a little more close-up view of what we've been up to. And this also coincides with the implementation of our newest long-range plan, which we have just finished collecting survey results for. It's my hope to show you both what we're doing and what we need to continue to fulfill our mission, which is to bring people, information, and ideas together to enrich lives and build community. So we have 6 areas, more or less, that support the whole. We have adult services that provide programming and collection development for any age adult, 18 and up. We also have teen services, which is what I do, that does everything for grades 6 through 12, and youth services that develops the collection programs for kids who are just born through grade 5 and their families and caregivers. We also have our reference department that offers reference, research, and computer help to patrons of all ages. And we have our technical services department. That is a part-time, one-person super house of a team. And they process all of our new materials for circulation as they come in. And we also have our circulation folks. They are our amazing frontline team who basically are the face of the library as patrons come in to find books, ask for books, and get books. And if you haven't come by in a while, they'll always be happy to give you a smile and say hello and help you find what you're looking for. That said, we all work together to provide a warm and welcoming environment, and we are often wearing multiple hats. So I also do stuff in references and sometimes even dip into youth services. So there's a lot of cross-pollination there. We were happy to see that in our long-range survey results, 80% of survey participants rated very good or excellent for the staff courtesy and helpfulness. However, 60% only rated very good or excellent for a number of staff. Many declined to answer on this last one, and so while we love cross-pollinating and working together, we have been wearing some extra hats. So I think I'm pretty happy with some of the stories that I'm going to share with you, but I do want to stress that this has all been happening while we've been working with a few less team members than we would like. So breaking it down a little bit further for you, some of the specific projects that we've worked on, I'm going to list them, and then I'm going to launch into some stories from staff and patrons and community members that we've collected through emails, social media, and through our survey. So adult programs have done a lot of stuff virtually. Virtual book groups have been a very important way to sustain our book communities, and we've continued to reach out to our homebound patrons who rely on us going to them to have access to library services and connection to other people. We've also done our lovely pop-up at the Senior Center, which is a really fun collaboration to serve community members, especially the older population. For the teens, we have been starting our makerspace as we are able to no longer socially distance, but we've been, trying to make sure that we're staying on top of all of the requirements there. But I have a new 3D printer and a bunch of new teen volunteers, as well as returning teen volunteers who are super excited to make friends, learn the technology, and help us staff it once we open for pop-in hours to the general community in the fall. We've been continuing Dungeons and Dragons virtually. We've served in all of our sessions over 500 teens, and I haven't DM'd for all of those. We do have 3 teen DMs who we've been able to compensate for their time, which is really cool. And we've been providing an expanded collection of board and video games, as well as loot bags, which are like a subscription service. You get to get goodies and books that we hand select. Kids have been doing virtual story times and music. We've been giving them, they've been creating take and makes and grab and goes, which are fun ways to say craft kits and activities that you can take home so that you can be safe but still have that connection. We also had a fairy house program last month with over 80 entries. The library was full of really adorable fairy houses, and you can find pictures of those on our Facebook page. We've had 275 summer reading participants and over 3,200 books read that have been reported. And at our pop-ups, we've actually so far served 253 different patrons with 223 prize participants. You can find us on Tuesdays at the beach, and we still have a few more pop-ups to do at the brewery and at the farmers market before our end of summer reading party. So check us out if you haven't. We also added a lot more mobile hotspots, which are key for folks who need Wi-Fi, and we've continued curbside pickup and lots of phone and in-person help. And that's in addition to all the printing, tax help, local history, including finding local graveyard maps for personal family tree tracing, helping people get jobs, including one gentleman who had never gotten an email in his life. So we try to help folks from all walks of life. I have a few minutes left, so I just want to read a few of the words from the community members.
Sure.
I was just thinking yesterday how grateful I am to have connected with the Ventress Memorial Library through audiobooks via the Libby app. I have read so many books from different authors and discovered new and interesting ones that I can share with friends. Thank you to the staff for all your hard work. I want to thank you for the April Loot Bag. This really is such a fun program. Again, Elle was so excited with your book selections, and the patron continues to explain how much she loved every single book selection. Books are my way of winding down each day or starting my morning on the weekends. I've always been an avid reader, but even more so in the past year. The library has been a saving grace. Not only has it saved me over $600 this past year, we've also engaged more with the activities the library has offered. Even though we were not able to go in to browse, Ventress has made it as seamless for us to still utilize the services our wonderful library has to offer. Thanks for all that you do. The Ventress Library has continued to allow me to lose myself in stories, movies, and television shows. When I get a notification that I have a hold available, I always smile. It's one of life's small pleasures. The library has always been a part of my life. The past year, I really missed the library. I would always do my homework and study there for my classes. Now that classes have gone online, I still enjoy the library by going there when I have the chance to do so. The library has also helped me get books I needed for research projects. Today I made an appointment to visit the children's room at the library. The children's librarian, Jen, was amazing and so helpful. She even took my email address to email me some suggested reading lists and recommendations. I just wanted to say thank you so much for the wonderful craft kits each week. We just picked up the New Year's Eve one, and when my daughter saw all the surprises in it, she was so excited. Thanks for all that you do. I have spoken with many, many library patrons who expressed how much they missed the library when we were closed and how grateful they were when we reopened. During the period of time we were closed, I made weekly check-in calls to about 5 homebound delivery library patrons. Many of them live in proprietor's green and were confined to their rooms for periods of time due to COVID precautions. They were very isolated and depressed, and they were always appreciative to get my calls. Many patrons came in here after they were vaccinated, telling us that the library was the place they missed most when they were staying home. I'm not sure how, thank you for sending us this survey. I forgot about how tremendous of a resource the library is. I'm excited to get back. Keep up the amazing work. We had a few comments for improvement as well. I wish the town would consider a new library building. I feel like you're making do with the best you can with an outdated space. Obviously, we live in a FEMA map zone, so that's a little bit more difficult. please replace the carpeting. I have tripped on the carpet runners that are all over the library several times. We actually, aside from 21% of the comments that focused on just gratitude and thanks, the next largest chunk, 12% of the comments in the long range plan survey mentioned space updates, and a lot of people mentioned the carpets. And then libraries are my lifeline. Thank you for being here. And I actually have this handout. I've got even more stories that I didn't have time for. And then just some numbers to kind of give you some quantitative data to kind of match all the stories that I just shared. I have a little library value calculator that was developed by the Massachusetts Library Association. And aside from all the service that we provide, if the average user saves about $500, we have over 9,000 card holders. 9,000 times 500 is $4,500,000. So that's quite a lot of value that we put back into the community, in addition to all the unquantifiable stuff that I just shared. And so thank you for hearing all of our library stories. And we look forward to your continued support as we strive to fill our vacant positions and develop our long-range plan. And if you want pictures of any of the cool things that I shared, you can always find us on Facebook. We post lots of stuff. We also post book recommendations as well as photos of events. So check us out there. You can always call the library at 781-834-5535 or visit our website at ventresslibrary.org, or stop in and say hello. We're always happy to say hi. I think that's my time, so thank you very much.
Well, thank you so much. So that's a lot, and honestly, I love hearing from organizations like our Ventress Library, because I knew a lot of what you were talking about, but some of the things you were talking about I didn't even know we offered. And I think it's huge. I think it's so important for people to engage with the library. I mean, to me, library is just a direct extension of the community. A lot goes on there, not just rent. A lot of people look at it as a checking out a book place, and it's way more than that, and this handout points that out. One thing I wanted to ask you is, besides coming in there, and you mentioned the Facebook page, is that the best way to engage with the library? Besides, I mean, you mentioned other things, but what do you think? You think the Facebook page, probably following the Facebook page so they get updates and things like that? Because you guys sounds like you're pretty active on it.
So we also actually, one of the questions we asked in our long-range plan was how people engage with the library and how they engage with social media. Facebook by far is the most popular medium. We have a lot of active Facebook forums that we try to share information on as well. So if Facebook is your tool, then you can do that. We also have an active Instagram for the general library. And then we actually just, our lovely teen Paige, who was left for university, has recently been running our teen Instagram. And we've got some teen volunteers who are very excited to take over.
Cool.
So you can kind of engage with us that way. But Facebook, by far, I think is our most popular medium for social media.
That's great. Well, this just reminds me I needed to be using the library more. I mean, I don't use it as much as I used to, and I like to read. I think reading is really important. I think it's really important to read all kinds of books, not just self-help and business books, but also for fun. So I appreciate you coming in.
Thank you for listening.
Let me, Mr. Darcy, do you have anything to add or
Yeah, I love your line that you guys only use 1% of the town's budget, but the value you get back is so much more, and I totally agree with that. You guys do a lot of great work. People love how you've had it for a while, but how you've evolved with that digital app so people can check out ebooks. People love that, helps them save money and kind of expand the access of a library that they have access to. And then my only question is, when you play the role of Dungeon Master, whether you're a method actor.
I think mostly I am just trying to kind of set the tone. So I'm more kind of being a facilitator. I have some kids who are just very excited, and the struggle virtually is you have, some teens who are like trying to metagame, and they're like, oh, wait a minute, but can't we do this? And so it's different, the dynamic, but you're trying to make sure everyone gets a chance, right, to play their character. I try to do the cool bad guy voices, but usually I just end up being like the goofy teen librarian DM who has a pretty good idea about what your spell can do. So we have a good time.
Yeah.
Should we increase your costume budget?
Well, we do have a Cricut in our makerspace, and you can print iron-ons. So we've been experimenting with that. In some future point, I'd like to get a sewing machine for people to tinker with as well. But
Oh, sounds like a lot of fun. So, Mr. Kilcoyne?
Yeah, well, thank you for coming in.
Yeah.
Libraries do build community, and you provide a service that pretty much no one else can. I did learn about the Libby app. I'm an avid reader, so that's something I'm going to personally check out. And I wonder if you'd be kind enough, once you've got your long-range plan done, to come back and give us a highlight of your long-range plan.
would love to do that for sure.
I'd like to hear that, yeah, because it's an important part of it, and that way we're in touch and in tune also with where you want to take the library and the trustees want to take the library. Gives you another chance to communicate also through our medium.
That'd be wonderful.
My pleasure.
Absolutely.
Yep.
So let me ask you a question. So what can we do to help you right now?
Well, we are
Carpets?
taking into consideration all of the. This is actually the first time that I've been at the beginning of a long-range plan. I've pretty much just helped to promote the survey and help put some of the questions there. So I know that the next steps will be determining how to take into consideration what patrons are asking for. In addition to that, I think our current biggest needs, and I'm sure we have other things as well, but having talked to the rest of the staff that I work with and my director, I think just getting those, we have some vacant positions that could really help. Right now, I'm doing kind of a lot of work at Reference, as well as doing the makerspace and the teen programs. And we're short a full-time circulation person, and our lovely staff just is always super hands-on to help everybody. But I think that, and then new carpets would make a huge difference. But I know that that is a more difficult project because it's an older building. And there's asbestos under the carpet, so I know that that needs to.
Well, we don't know if that's true.
Oh, we don't.
Yeah, we don't know if that's true.
Yeah, we don't know.
Well, the carpets are ugly. That needs to be.
We can look into it. We'll look into it.
Yeah, and I think just we're excited to share it with you. I'm glad that we can kind of reach everyone with what we've got going on. Libby is an amazing service, and you can access not just OCLN, but all of the other Massachusetts library systems with your OCLN card, which is Old Colony Library Network, which is what we're part of.
Yeah.
You can also sign up for the Venturous Voice if you want our monthly email newsletter.
Fantastic. Well, thanks for coming in.
Thank you for.
Appreciate the update,
listening, yeah.
for sure. All right. So let's move forward with action items. Next is discussion and vote on end-of-year transfers to close out accounts. That's Mr. Delarusso again.
GFT folks out of order.
We could do that real quick.
Oh, yeah, sure.
We could do that. Hold on. I mean, I realize Harbor Master DeMeo is sitting back there and is going to be towards the end. So that would be Harbor Park. Let's the Harbor Park parking issues and misinformation. Let's do IT first. Where is it? Discussion and vote on the cybersecurity, correct?
7, yep.
Yeah. So why don't we do that?
Important people to keep happy. Never tick off the IT people.
Patrick's got to be here anyway. Because he's involved in this too. So just the Patrick Delarusso show tonight.
I only got 3 items. This is very large one.
Yes.
So, a little bit of background on this. ARPA, as the board knows, that Michael and I have spoken at quite a few times on the issue. Fortunately for us, ARPA is evolving to expand programs that we're able to do. Michael gave us a directive, gave John and myself a directive to take a very hard look at the cybersecurity situation in the town due to some municipalities getting hit with ransomware and the like. John can fill you in the details. I'll just give you sort of the high level, so how we got here, how the package got to Michael. With that all also being said, is that we wanted to expand it to open the doors up because of the ARPA program funds, right? We were able to help the schools, as you see the schools, DPW, police, fire, and the town. And the package that's in front of you this evening encompasses that entire thing. And John can give you some updates on some of the testing that we're doing.
Sure. So just there's a few items here that we felt would be the most immediate need for lack of a better word, for replacement. Just to start with the biggest item, the servers. Those are going to be end of life next month. So
Yeah.
this couldn't be more of a perfect time. As far as for the penetration testing, we just got those results back last week. The biggest item, is going to be our outdated mail servers, which again are on a outdated server 2008, which is well past end of life. There's a lot of operating system adjustments and upgrades that needs to be done that our hardware currently won't be able to handle. It's at capacity. When we added all the Munis servers recently, they originally gave us a capacity requirement which was about half of what ended up being done in reality. So we really are stressing out our current servers. The new ones are going to be all flash and have much more capacity, so the performance and everything is going to be substantially better. Security, that these are very secure servers. They have very proprietary back end to them. So, for instance, we, as I stated in my letter to the board, we were hit with a crypto locker variant about 3 or 4 years ago, and because we had these servers, we were back up and running within hours. So, and talked to different vendors, different towns that have the same software. They haven't had any major issues with them either. They were hit with ransomware. They were just able to roll everything back. It's a real good system. So it's going to upgrade the main servers, which we have 2 here and 1 disaster recovery over in another building. And we're going to add 2 additional storage appliances to even further back up our backups. So we'll be able to have a bigger footprint around town, have different storage mediums and backup devices. As far as other items on here too, we got the penetration testing. We got that done. Our main firewall is coming up on end of life too. We'd like to upgrade that as well. And aside from that, we also added in the assessor software called AP5. They're on AP 4.3, which is the oldest version they have. They actually had to bring in more staff on the vendor side to be able to support the software because it's so old. The people that are there don't know how to manage it. And as far as on our side, for town side, that's really what we're trying to do.
All right. When you say end of life, what do you guys do with the old hardware? I mean, what is it?
This hardware will be traded in. We'll get $16,000 back as credit, and we'll put that towards the new cost.
Great, and I mean, ultimately, I think it's important for people to know this ARPA program allows us to move forward with this cybersecurity program with no cost to no town's general fund or borrowing. So it's really important people know that. It seems like a big price tag, but data breaches, people, I'm sure everyone, if you're online, these huge data breaches. There was just one the other day with T-Mobile, I believe, had one, or somebody had a huge one, and it's billions of dollars in issues. So it's important that we protect our data. So, okay, Mr. Darcy, do you have anything?
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense. We seem to be uniquely positioned to jump at this opportunity. The Rockland school system had a ransomware attack pretty recently, and the Brockton Police Department had an issue too. So we definitely want to get ahead of it and be proactive. So thanks for putting this together.
Great. Mr. Kilcoyne?
It's timely, everything's end of life, and we're getting someone else to pay for it.
Yeah.
You can't get much better than that. If you just take a second, if you would, Mr. Director of Finance, and I explained to him this, the Finance Department would recommend to you that we modify a previous vote of the Select Board and remove revenue loss from our allocated expenditures. If you could just explain to everyone listening what that means.
Sure, we're not, that doesn't have to necessarily occur tonight, because it's in the 3-year program. It's just sort of like, the funding for this, right? Effectively, we've been notified, through the ever-changing guidance of ARPA that, it's unlikely the town, given the fact that we've had another, well, it will come out that we've had a successful, we did better than other people did around this time, let's put it that way, right? Given that fact, it's gonna be very hard for us to recognize any revenue loss, given that fact that we had a surplus. You know, I don't know what that surplus is yet, but, we're not gonna be able to use that, 1.3 million. So that 1.3 million effectively is coming out. This, like Michael mentioned and John mentioned, and, you know, Detective Goen, the police chief, we're not gonna have to borrow $700,000.
Right.
You know, I mean, this is
It's huge.
Yeah, I mean, we're not gonna have to borrow, and we're not gonna have to, expend that money out of our free cash. We're not gonna have to do that. All that money can go back into, other programs, which it's kind of semantics. I don't know why the federal government does this, because, okay, great, we're using this, right, but now we're gonna have other available cash to use this. If we just had revenue loss, we'd be doing the same thing, but they're the experts, so.
So, it's ARPA changing the
Yeah,
rules.
so, so, you know, Michael instructs us always to, you know, go ahead and think of creative ways to do this. Once this popped up, I brought it up to him, and, you know, we mobilized the team. And this is the product of that result.
Thank you, Patrick.
I'd just like to thank the board. This will be a substantial upgrade for our department and the town as a whole, and it'll be a real great thing. Free money is a great thing.
Well, it is,
That
and
money's not going to pay ransoms.
yeah, and the other thing is we spend a lot of money protecting, putting security and our police and fire and everything. This is just going to support them and take that to another level. And in addition to us, the world is becoming more online and more cyber, and it's just the way it is. So we have to be prepared. So, all right. So I'm going to make a motion then to approve the request for cybersecurity funding in the amount of $709,410.41 from ARPA funds for public safety departments, general government departments, and the school department.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you, Joe. Thanks, Joe.
Great, guys. All right, so, Mr. DeMayo, do you want to, since you're here, don't want to take up too much, we get way too long. I wanted to bring forth a discussion to our board about the Harbor Park parking issues and the misinformation that's out there about the Harbor Park parking issues. I just want to make it clear that that a sitting member of another board in this town, has made egregious accusations about this parking on social media. And this is a gentleman who's on another board, elected board in our town, and ultimately, I just couldn't let it go for these types of accusations about this parking area and about how this is coming to pass go without us setting the record straight and public record. So I appreciate you coming in and talking to us about it. I could go into deeper about the acquisitions, but there's acquisitions that this is going to expose toxic dredge spoils, that it's going to that's been dumped over there, that this parking is 100% unnecessary, that this is in the town wetlands, that this is just a complete conspiracy of our board and other departments in this town to come together and do something that's totally wrong. And I just want to be able to set the record straight. So I appreciate you being here. Would you like to go ahead and fill in the public on the project and where it truly stands?
Thank you for inviting me, and Bill Grafton.
Mr. Grafton, thank you for coming.
Yeah, this was a project that started back in January, and we met numerous times with some boards and folks that would be helping with the project, DPW, Town Hall, things like that. The first step was to go to conservation and DEP as well. DEP had no problem with it. Conservation, when they had the notice of intent filed, all the abutters were notified. I think it was 68 of them. Could have cost like $213 to pay for all that. There was no concerns at that time from any abutters, to my knowledge, and that whole parcel is town-owned lands, currently in control from the DPW, but not care and custody, if you will. Basically, it's an underutilized parcel of land that hasn't been used for 10, 11 years for dredge spoils. All the dredge spoils that are dumped in this location have to have a water quality certificate, 401 water quality certificate, okay, before anything can even be dumped there. So if the material was that bad, it would be in a CAD cell and trucked to Michigan and buried 200-300 feet in the ground. So we're not talking bad material here. Okay, that material can be taken out of there at any time and sold to a landfill for capping. It can be used for storage or dredge spoils in the future, which it should be used for. It should never, ever just be for parking. The town would be forced to just rescind any use of the dump site for dredge spoils. We're getting ready to dredge the Green Harbor Channel, probably April. 20,000 cubic yards of material is going to come out of there, and it's probably going to go off Duxbury Beach, and hopefully we go back on Duxbury Beach and Green Harbor Beach, but ultimately it will probably come back in the Green Harbor. I wish the town could take that material, store it in the DSA, and maybe put it on Wrexham Beach or areas of Hewitt's Point, things like that, when we need it to protect the seawalls. That was the whole purpose of that DSA, and it's still the whole purpose of that. Furthermore, the whole DSA also is included with a walking trail. I figured if we're going to add more parking, we should also add more recreation, passive recreation to it. It has a nice walking trail on the top of it, which was there probably 10 years ago. It's currently overgrown now, but it would be a nice enhancement to the Harbor Park and the addition Harbor Walk, which brings me to the next portion that some folks raise a question of safety. If you ever saw Town Pier Road before the Harbor Walk was installed, that would be a safety hazard, and that's why that Harbor Walk was installed. Okay, so I think the hazard of safety on that roadway has been seriously mitigated. Okay, do people come from out of town to use the boat ramp? Absolutely, it's a busy boat ramp. It's probably the third busiest boat ramp in the Commonwealth. Okay, the whole reason why, and people forward my emails to the state, that's fine. There's nothing to hide there. I don't really care. Okay, and the state's in there. The reasons why I wanted to expand the parking lot of Harbor Park. It was a main reason because we were embarking on a new pier project, and we were experiencing the larger boat trailers, especially the last couple of years with COVID. A lot of big boat trailers couldn't get slips in marinas, so they have these big trailers which don't fit into trailer spaces. So the remedy was to remove those trailers and have them park into the DSA area, so the town pier currently doesn't get congested with boat trucks and trailers blocking 2 lanes for 8 to 10 hours a day when folks are out tuna fishing or out pleasure fishing. I also have pictures that I sent to DPW as well. So that was one of the main reasons why. And it also removes the congestion along the North Pier, the way that the ramps are currently configured, that if we have extra people coming in to launch boats, and the lot's full, but they all stack up in front of the North Pier, so if the fishermen were coming in to offload catch, they can't get to their trucks to get to the pier. So it was a lot of that as well. So I'll stop for a second in case we guys want to catch up, ask questions, but I can probably talk all night about this.
Would you like me to answer them?
Sure.
Yeah, okay. Thank you again, Selectman, for having me. Mike, thank you. We've vetted this out multiple times. We've had it in front of us recently. Mike did what we would ask of any applicant, and he came and he visited with the Conservation Commission. We then vetted this out, and I followed up on the plans. I did a thorough review of the wetlands. It's a bit of a jungle out there. Mike's right, there is a very nice berm up there, which could be a wonderful addition for walking and so on. It'll give you a little bit of elevated view. It's actually going to be a good bonus right there. So you get your recreation interests under our current revised regulations, March 18th. The areas in question are shown by the state as potentially being wetlands. However, if you carefully review their documentation, those are subject to field investigation. And both the prior conservation administrator and I are not calling that area out in the interior as a wetland. As an example, on November 5, 2014, during the public meeting for the Harbor Masters Project, SE 42-2522, Jay Wenham being present. Jay Wenham said he's satisfied with the dredge spoil area. This is part of that project, no longer considered a salt marsh when the WPA came into being. Considered to the application permit now. This is not a wetland resource area. That is my predecessor prior to me even meeting him. I went through as well. I carefully reviewed this area. I tried really hard to find any signs of wetlands. I could not. All right, there are some wetland plants back in there, but you must have 400 or more square feet in order to make it a wetland under the town bylaw, and that is definitely not out there. So you do not have a wetlands within the interior of this area. It's also been designated prior to the Wetlands Protection Act as a dredge spoil area at the town's use. I talked to Mike about this project, the way it's been designed. That material can be reused, or you can utilize another portion of that area, which is primarily Phragmites, an invasive plant, which is only considered really a wetland species or plant when it's a portion of the salt marsh. It's a salt marsh. Yes, it is considered a wetland indicator species, but in this case, we do not have a wetland as per the two conservation administrators, and you're looking at solely one species, which is invasive. It will grow into a driveway. It will go through a parking lot. I don't think we want me taking the wetlands all the way back there. So that's something that I think needs to be considered. So this has been carefully vetted out. I also feel that this project does help with the public safety interests under the wetlands regulations, Chapter 505, meets public safety. I think it's been carefully vetted out by a well-respected engineer as well. So I'm not concerned about some of the comments that are coming down. However, recently there's been some information floated out there saying that the commission did not do its due diligence on this, and the comments about the building commissioner has gone and identified wetlands is correct, but under zoning, which is different than under the Wetlands Protection Act. The Wetlands Protection Act tends to be a little bit more expansive. The zoning tends to hinge very closely to the 1969 soil studies that were done all across the country, and it's a bit more conservative. So that can be there, but it doesn't necessarily dictate that we have a wetlands under the Wetlands Protection Act. It's a different jurisdiction. And just for the record, so the selectmen are satisfied, that is what I think is the fact of the matter. The building commissioner sent a statement in an email to me, so I have that available if you'd like it.
Thank you, Mr. Grafton. So let me ask you a couple questions. The parking lot that's currently there, obviously it's back against the, across the street from Harbor Park. When that was built in a similar way?
Go ahead, you were here before me.
So,
yeah.
I'm sorry. Yeah, so back in 2015, I think, when we did the park, we actually had, 56 spaces in the NOI for that parcel of land, and we never really moved anything around there. It was just basically a flat dirt parking lot that got graded a few times this season to level it off, because that area is used for a lay-down area for like gas line work, water line work, seawall repair work, things like that. It was also used by the old Fairview restaurant for
Overflow,
ferrying
yeah.
cars back and forth as well. So, the Harbor Park's getting busier. There's weddings there all the time. We had Jaws in the park. There's a lot of big events that happen down there. So if we can contain everything to that area versus overflowing onto the pier, impacting the pier, then I think it's a better use of real estate down there. It benefits everybody. The fishermen get their piece of the parking lot. The kayakers get one piece. The park users get their piece. So I think it's very underutilized, and I think having that area actually helps the whole Esplanade businesses as well for future projects and events, things like that. So, some argue that the parking lot's never full. It depends on the day. You know what I mean? It's like no different than a train. Some days the trains are busy. Some days the trains are not busy. Sometimes the highways are busy. Sometimes they're not busy. We're not basing the project on that. The project is based on if we need to use it, it's there. At the last zoning meeting, I even offered to say, hey, we can block it off, chain it off until we actually need that space. I have no problem with that. I don't want to see a 2-acre parking lot just vacant, no cars in it, people doing donuts and trash. That's not what I'm looking for, but if we can have that space available, it would be awesome. Case in point, we just missed a major hurricane, right? So the town has a hold harmless agreement with the commercial fleet and all the boats that if there was a storm coming, they could haul their boats 96 hours in advance and park on town property in advance with boat insurance to keep those boats out of the water, which removes an environmental hazard potentially So that's a piece of land that could have been used that very safely, so.
So you just answered my question. Is this parking lot 100% unnecessary?
Unnecessary?
Yeah.
No,
I didn't
it's
think so.
definitely sorely needed.
Is it going to expose toxic dredge spoils previously dumped over many years? Is it recognized by the town as wetlands? Right. I'm just going through this post because I mean, this certain board member decided to post these things online, and I'm just want to make sure that if this is accurate or not. I just feel like one of the main reasons I want to bring this is because, I want to caution members of boards, especially elected boards in this town, from spewing things online that are just not true. If people want to know what's true, they should call town hall and they should talk to us, because this is just unacceptable, in my opinion.
Do a due diligence. Just one thing, Mr. Chairman, Roland. No wetlands under conservation.
Right.
Some areas under zoning, but they have their own jurisdiction. I don't think it would stop the project, but I can't speak to that.
Okay.
I think it's a safe statement.
All right, Mr. Darcy.
Yeah, no questions.
Mr. Kilcoyne?
Yeah, I think it's sad that we need to do this.
I agree.
I think it exemplifies poor judgment on the part of an individual of another board. They may say they're operating as a private citizen and post in that fashion, but everyone knows that they are sitting on a board. Just like when you post privately, they know you are a member of the select board.
Correct.
So I think you have to be a little more careful when you do those things, especially when what you're saying isn't basically linked to facts. I am publicly asking the Department of Public Works to reinvigorate more conversations and work more proactively with the select board on mutual projects of interest that we can work together on. And because I think we've gotten away from that. And I'd be more than willing to work with that. Just so I know, was there a wetland delineation done by a qualified wetland scientist?
Yes.
Did the current design retain the required buffer zones?
It did have the required buffer zones based upon the wetland delineation, which was not in this particular area.
That's a yes, it required the buffer zones. Would this prohibit the area from being used for further dredge use if required?
Not at all.
Is this an extension of a previously permitted parking area for Harbor Park?
So I said previously, the parking lot did have 56 parking spaces in it.
Correct.
So, and when you look at that, compared to what the parking lot is now, like currently we had, I think, 14 parking spaces in the most current plan. So that was probably my mistake for not realizing that we had it previously 5 years ago. So it looks more daunting than it actually is.
Right.
So
It's going to be used primarily for the large trailers that now park across the safety lanes for fire apparatus.
that was one of the main priorities.
By doing that, will it increase safety as well as increase access to the boat ramp for the recreational boaters?
It will help reduce car accidents.
Do we have a
as well.
sidewalk that connects the dock area to this parking area?
Yep, there's a harbor walk that goes across the bridge right to the town pier.
Is there primarily a monoculture of non-facultative wetland plants in this area?
Yeah, it's an invasive species.
How many public meetings have been conducted to date, just for a guess?
For all the committees and boards?
Start with Concom, ZBA, DPW.
Site visits, DPW, 3 DPW meetings, 1 zoning, probably 3 or 4 site visits with Concom.
So maybe 6, 7 public hearings and meetings by this time? So this has not been in the dark of the night? This has been going on for months and months and months with multiple public hearings? I personally think this is a greater utilization of the dredge spoils area. It continues to act as a dredge spoils area and enhances the dock, and I appreciate you coming in and spending the time unnecessarily. I want to thank both Howard Messonnier and Mr. Graff, the administrator for Concom. Thank you.
Well, thank you for having us.
Yeah.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
That's all we have. Thanks. All right. So next item for discussion and vote on end-of-year transfers to close out accounts. Mr. Della Russo.
Mr. Chairman, if I may,
Yes, sir.
Treasurer collector finance Patrick and his team's done a great job, and really, special thanks to all our department heads, because we don't operate in a vacuum. It's not the team concept and everyone working with us, especially during these difficult times. We were able to get down to less than 1%, 0.7. So it's fantastic.
Fantastic, yeah. Great work.
Thank you. Like Michael said, it's the team. They stick to the message. We've gotten the department heads to stick to the plan, and this is the step one of the results. And special thanks to Christine McCarthy. She completed all these journal entries, and big thanks to her, and her accuracy and everything makes all of our lives so much easier. The big takeaways here, again, like Michael said, it's less than 1%. Should the board vote successfully tonight to accept these transfers, the next step in the procedure, of course, as you guys know, is to go to the advisory board and request Mr. Scollins to sign them as well. And that's really, there's really not much. I mean, it's it's 900,000 on 170 million. So
Yeah. Well, and the 900,000, I mean, I want to make it clear, so just for the people watching, that the rules on these are they have to stay within the same operational lanes, correct?
Yeah, within 5% of the appropriated funds.
Right.
Under the law, and for instance, we try to back general government to general government.
Right.
That DPW to DPW, fixed cost to fixed cost, and that's the makeup of it. And then that's what we do first, and that alleviates a lot of stuff too. That goes to our fixed cost turn back agreement with the schools, and everything here. By doing it this way, it's a very fair process and a transparent process, and it works.
Yeah.
Every time.
Great. I don't have anything else. Do you have anything? Mr. Cocoyne?
I spent some time with the Director of Finance. He was gracious enough to bear with my uninformed questions and help me understand the process better, this being my first time. And it was very helpful. Thank you, Patrick.
Thank you.
When I was managing my $100 million budget, if I could come in within 1% to my finance director for my sales target, they would have been giving me multiple raises every year. So less than 1% is a true accomplishment on a budget. Thank you.
It is. That's like a blip. I mean, it's
It's
like
enough.
it's a movie. It's like a little needle in the haystack.
It's a perfect.
So it's a rounding.
Not to overdo it, but
It's a rounding error.
I hope people need to know. It is. It's like a rounding error. It's like someone fell asleep and hit the wrong button while they were typing. Yeah.
No, I have no comments.
All right, great. So I'm going to make a motion to approve the year-end transfers to close out the various accounts as presented by the Treasurer and Finance Director.
Thank you, guys.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thanks. All right, next item up, discussion and vote on request for permission to route the Best Buddies Challenge through the town of Marshfield. I think this has come up before, right? And then
Yes.
we, I guess there was issues with the timing on it, but basically they're doing the 22nd, they do this every year, it's the 22nd annual Best Buddies Challenge. It's set to take place on Saturday, October 2nd, and it's an annual fundraising event for Best Buddies International. It's a 100-mile long bicycle ride, and they want to bring it through the town of Marshfield as part of the ride. They have their liability insurance. I really have, do we have approval from the police or?
No, so that's what, Mr. Chairman, the motion would be pending approval from the Marshfield Police and Marshfield Fire.
Okay, great. Mr. Darcy, anything?
No questions.
Mr. Cocoyne?
No, this is a global volunteer. It's a great cause, and so no, this is it's kind of a no-brainer for us to approve.
Cool. So I'll make a motion to approve the Best Buddies Challenge that will take place on Saturday, October 2nd, 2021, pending approval from the Marshfield Police Department and the Marshfield Fire Department.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Great. Aye. Next, discussion and vote on tentative plans for return of Mike Myers from cross-country bike ride to raise awareness and funds for ALS research. Mr. Myers, believe he's completing a cross-country bike ride sometime in the next week to 10 days. And these people are hoping to gather at Wrexham Beach to welcome him back. It really comes down to when he can get back here. So, I mean, riding across the country is no little deal. So, and you run into a lot of things, weather and such. So, He's an employee of McDonald Electric in Hingham, and they are coordinating a fire police escort for his final leg. I think at this point, we do need pending approval. He doesn't have approval from MPD or MFD, and Cindy Castro, beach administrator. So I see no problem with it. Mr. Darcy, anything?
No issues.
Mm,
Mr. Kilcoyne?
No, none at all.
All right, so I'm going to move to approve the ALS 1 Marshfield bicyclist Mike Myers' return to Marshfield at Rexham parking lot sometime in the next 10 days, pending approval from MPD, MFD, and Cindy Castro, beach administrator.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. All right. Discussion and vote on one-day common victual license for Lobster Fest. Hold on, where am I? So the following people have submitted applications for one-day common vic licenses and have been approved by or in the process of being approved by the Board of Health. It's Brooke Costa from Bees Ice Cream, Catherine Keefe, Ellie's Treats LLC, Christopher Patrick, CP's Woodfire Pizza LLC, Josephine Naples Fetch Barbecue, Brandon Lingieri, Jet Fuel Studio Soda Stream Truck, Catherine Riddle Shine Mobile Coffee. And this would be, approval would be contingent on positive recommendations from the Board of Health on these. Any questions?
No questions.
Any questions?
Nope.
All right,
Sounds great.
so,
Lobster Fest.
yeah, Lobster Fest is coming. So I'm going to make a motion to approve one-day common victual license for Lobster Fest, which is 9/12/21, for the following businesses, pending approval from the Board of Health: Brooks Costa, Bees Ice Cream, Catherine Keefe, Ellie's Treats LLC, Christopher Patrick, CP's Woodfire Pizza LLC, Josephine Naples Fetch Barbecue, Brandon Lingieri, Jet Fuel Studio Soda Stream Truck, and Catherine Riddle Shine Mobile Coffee.
Second.
All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
All right. Next, discussion and vote on application for annual peddler's license, Stephen Coe, Define Pallet, DBA Lobster Love. I believe he has approval. He has no problem from police or fire. I mean, I don't think he has fire.
Please, no fire.
He has no fire. Board of Health and Police needs fire, correct? Or no?
He doesn't need fire
No
for this,
fire.
no.
Okay. So he has the necessary approvals. Any questions, concerns?
No questions.
Any questions?
Nope.
All right, board moves to approve a peddler's license for Stephen Coe of Plymouth for Define Pallet, DBA Lobster Love, food truck for Lobster Fest, Farmers Market, and breweries.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right. Next, discussion and vote on applications for one-day liquor license for Lobster Fest. The Family Crest Catering, Inc., all alcohol, Stellwagen Beer Company, wine and malt, and the Sangria Lady Wine and Malt. I believe they have the proper. Hold on. They have liability, tip certifications. They need police though, correct?
Police did it already, no fire. But, Mr. Chairman, you'll see there are some restrictions on where they can serve and where the people have to be located.
Right, so there will be, these licenses are approved. They will be contained within the Harbor Park, and no alcohol beverages will be consumed outside the park. So any questions?
No questions.
Mr. Coyne?
Nope.
All right, so I'll make a motion to approve a one-day liquor license for Lobster Fest for the following businesses: the Family Crest Catering, Inc., all alcohol, Stellwagen Beer Company, wine and malt, the Sangria Lady Wine and Malt. Licenses, and these licenses approved by the police will be contained within Harbor Park, and no alcohol beverages will be consumed outside the park.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
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 The next is discussion and vote on application for one-day wine and malt license for Rib Cook-Off, Marshfield Agriculture and Horticulture Society. That is happening on 9/11. That weekend's going to have a lot of good food flowing through town for sure. It's Carlton, Chandler, and he has his liability insurance. No issues with police or fire, so I have no questions. Do you have any questions? No questions. Any questions?
Who's going to win? 'Cause I'm going to find out. I'm going to go.
Yeah, no kidding.
Yeah, why aren't we judges?
Yeah, what? Yeah,
Like that idea.
I like it too.
I like that idea.
Contingent on being appointed judges.
Official taster. So I'm going to move to approve a one-day liquor license to Carlton Chandler, Marshfield Agricultural and Horticultural Society for September 11th, 2021 for the rib cook-off.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
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 All right, next, discussion and vote on request to waive sign permit fee for senior center project. It's a $40 sign permit fee on the senior center town project. I have no problem in waiving that. It's for our town project. Do you have any concern?
No, we do that on a regular basis.
Great. So I'll move to waive the sign permit fee for the senior center project located at 230 Webster Street.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Next, discussion and vote on new appointment to Library Board of Trustees, Greg Kai. Mr. Kai has applied and graciously applied to serve on the Library Board of Trustees. I had put out a Facebook post a while ago about open positions on boards and committees in town, and Mr. Kai saw that, and he is wanted to serve. I actually served with Mr. Kai on the Capital Budget Committee for a number of years, and he's a great townsperson and citizen, and I have no problem with him being on this board committee.
No issues.
All right.
No, great addition.
Great. So I'm going to make a motion to appoint Greg Kai to the Library Board of Trustees for a 3-year term expiring on June 30th, 2024.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Next is discussion and vote on request to hold South River School PTO road race. This is South River School Parent Teacher Organization is asking to host a road race on Sunday, October 24th, 2021 at 8 a.m. It'll start and finish at the South River School and will loop through the Marshfield Fairgrounds. It has in the past. All the proceeds will go directly to the South River School PTO. This is they've been doing it since 2004, so it will be the 6th year. And they've received approval or discussed it with Officer Filer, and they will have volunteers to assist, but they will have a police officer direct traffic in a designated area. So I have no concerns about this. Any concerns, Mr.
No,
McCormick?
not at all. Sounds great.
All right, so I'll move to approve the request of the South River School PTO, Parent-Teacher Organization, to host a road race on Sunday, October 24th, 2021 at 8 a.m. in the Marshfield Fairgrounds with the following recommendations from our safety officer: volunteers to assist in the start area finish line to assist with pedestrian traffic, a designated parking area on the fairgrounds for participants to park that would not interfere with other athletic activities for the South River fields, and also a police officer to direct traffic at designated crosswalks.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right.
Great. Next item is discussion and vote on a letter of opposition to wood-burning power plants. I know I discussed this briefly with Town Administrator Moresco. There is a letter, basically there was an article in the Patriot Ledger last week or a week and a half or so ago about large-scale plants that would be eligible for state incentives under the newest proposed regulations to burn 1,200 tons of wood per day. And I brought this forward to Mr. Moresco to talk to him about a little bit about it, that Marshfield is considered as part of the map that would be among the 35 Massachusetts communities that could be affected by the plan. I know that our State Senator Patrick O'Connor and 6 other legislators have sent a letter to the state asking the state, the Department of Energy Resources, to stop considering wood-burning power plants. as a clean energy source. I mean, personally, I think it's an oxymoron that anything that burns and puts smoke into the air could be considered clean energy. Call me crazy, but I really don't understand it. So, Senator O'Connor has been against it, and I thought that it would make sense for us to craft a letter from our board also in support of this. I know a number of other state senators and are against it. So I just wanted to bring that forward as an opportunity for us to show support of us being against this coming to Marshfield and the South Shore. So you have anything to add to that?
No, you covered it well.
Cool. Anything to add to that?
Sorry, I must.
Go
I
for
think
it.
there are some things that are just so obvious that it's crazy that we actually have to send a letter about this. It's similar to us, and I think we should consider writing a letter in support of Administrator Maresco's letter on the closing of our Coast Guard station. Okay, there's certain things that we should just say we are against. Renewable, all right, is not necessarily clean. This is a renewable resource, wood, but it is not a clean resource. It's highly polluting. No, we should write a letter that we are not in support of this and support both our congressman and senator.
Great, I agree. So I'm going to make a motion to have our town administrator, Michael Maresco, draft a letter to support the efforts of Senator O'Connor and Representative Patrick Kearney regarding the town's opposition to wood-burning power plants.
Second?
All those in favor?
Aye.
Do we have enough to
Yes.
approve the minutes? Okay. So I'm going to make a motion to approve the minutes from August 9th, 2021.
Second?
All those in favor? Aye.
All right.
All right, and
Do I recuse on that, or I don't vote?
yeah, you don't really need to
I
vote.
don't vote on that.
No.
Non-vote.
It's okay, we had 2 votes anyway, so. I should have said that. And so I'm going to make a motion to adjourn our regular session, to go into executive session, not to return to public session for the purpose of discussing pending litigation that if discussed in open session could have a negative impact on the negotiating position of the town. Do we need to take a
We need to take a roll call vote.
roll call
So,
vote? Yeah.
Mr. Rowland?
Aye.
Mr. Darcy?
Aye.
Mr. Kilcoyne?
Aye.
Unanimous vote to go into executive session, not to return to public session.
Great. Meeting adjourned. Thanks, everyone.